Hello and welcome. My name is Ruta. I am female coach, emotional well-being practitioner, trauma integration specialist, and holistic womb healing enthusiast. And I'm continuing with my mood diary, which is actually my diary as a new mom, as I have recently given birth to a beautiful daughter. So what I want to talk to you today about is breast health. And I'm talking to you from a perspective of a mother, from a perspective of a woman who is actually relatively healthy, on a healthy diet, with the healthy habits, doesn't have any pre-existing, coexisting conditions, and also as somebody who breastfeeds. So, long story short, as I have started breastfeeding, initially I needed to get my milk going really quickly because my baby was on antibiotics, and the sooner I got my breast milk going, the sooner she would go off antibiotics. So I started pumping like really early on, and as a result of all hormones and everything in my body, I actually had these huge bumps and swellings in my armpits. Both of my armpits, I was still in hospital at that point, looked like extra boobs. It was kind of scary because if I would put my arms like this, I could feel them there, and so basically I would need to walk like this with my arms spread apart. It didn't last too long. I didn't really need to take any medication. It actually settled itself out. I think it happens, like doctors told me, that it happens as the hormones regulate itself, and then you kind of get those symptoms to become less intense, or sometimes they go away completely. However, 2 months later now, I actually still have some lumps in my armpits, both of my armpits, and even though it can be possibly some glands and breastfeeding related issues and hormone related issues possibly, since I had the GP visit, I've been referred to breast clinic. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. So there is this, panic about cancer, and I am not trying to minimize it. It's a valid fear and valid concern for many. It has not been something that I was anxious about or worried about ever, really, for myself. And even when I got referred to breast clinic to check out these lumps, I was fine, and I got my appointment, and then I'm in UK, by the way, and I got then these pieces of paper. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4. I have some forms to fill out. I got some information leaflet to fill out, Q&As and things like that. And what I wanted to say about that, while I think it's good to get informed and have all the information, the tone of all of that is in here, it kind of like makes me feel as even though I was not worried and I'm not worried, maybe I should be, because it's like it's written in such a way that, okay, if you need one person to support you, to come in with you, you can do that. So they're assuming I'm gonna need support. It's already like there were some things that I was not even worried about, I was not even thinking about, up until I read that leaflet and that information sheet. And once I read it, I'm like, oh my, maybe this is something serious. Oh my, maybe it's something bigger. Maybe I am not taking this seriously. Maybe I should be actually anxious about it. Maybe I should be worried about it. While I'm not discounting experiences of anyone, and everybody has the right to worry about whatever they want to worry, I wasn't worried before I read that. I wasn't even going that way before I read that. And usefulness of worrying when you don't know if you should be worried about it or not, in my personal opinion, it doesn't really do anything. As long as you have a concern, you take action, you investigate, that's all you can do at that point. And extra worrying, making something that might not even be that bigger than it is, or maybe is not, I feel like it kind of creates extra stress, it creates extra tension. It is not good for the physical health, it's not good for emotional health, it's not good for mental health. So when I start kind of like catching myself feeling those feelings, okay, you know what? Ignore. Ignore. Not my feelings, ignore, but I was fine before, then I read it, and then I was like disturbed. So kind of like reverse, ignore, cancel, and come back to the point where I was not worried. So I don't know if I'm actually as calm as I was before, if I managed to do it completely 100% successfully. But one thing that I definitely don't really want to go into worrying about something that might not even be there, like cancer. Like some people can be pretty scared about it, and I think some people have family history and they have their own reasons to be really worried about it. But in my case, I personally don't feel like I need to be worried about hold the phone. Maybe I should be worried about it, and maybe a few months later I'll be like, oh my god, I was supposed to be worried about it. But anyways, my point is, I feel like sometimes ignorance is not just bliss, but it's also cure, and it's also condition for peaceful existence. And I think in some cases, just because there are some bad scenarios and things that can go wrong is possibility, we shouldn't really be starting from there, because it's not like 99% of people end up there. But I think worrying about it can actually give you autoimmune diseases. It can disturb your health status. It can actually lower your immune system defense mechanisms. And immune system is the thing that keeps all of us away from cancer, because we have cancer cells in our bodies all the time. It's just that healthy immune system manages to fight it off, and we don't get, let's say, infested, and we don't have the balance wrong in our bodies, basically. So we still have cancer cells, but we are healthy and we continue to exist. When people get cancer, properly diagnosed cancer, that balances off. Immune system didn't manage to fight those cells off, and that's how it actually happens. I'm not medical professional in that sense, so disclaimer, that's my personal opinion, and from my personal research, that's what I know. So just kind of like a couple steps to step back on my birthing experience as well. It was very similar case scenario. I was very scared. I managed to kind of calm down before I actually gave birth throughout my pregnancy, but in my head I imagined it is going to be so horrible and terrible, and then in reality it wasn't. And then I had a problem with actually accepting a reality that I already given birth, because in my head it was supposed to be worse, more horrible, more painful, and more extreme experience than it actually was. So I'm basically questioning benefit of plotting the worst case scenario and putting those possible bad and worst case scenarios in our head, especially for the people who might not even have that in the first place. I'm questioning the benefit for our health of doing that. Sometimes the intention might be good to keep us informed, but sometimes actually the life might be more peaceful if we didn't know things that we don't need to know at that point. So almost as if inundation with information and giving too much information can have the opposite effect on the health. Having had that said, I believe, like breast health is important. I personally don't do regular checks because I am quite self-aware and body aware, so I would be able to pick up if I have something going on. So I wouldn't just go there even there is nothing, just to kind of search for something. But obviously I would encourage anyone who's worried to contact GPs, contact breast health clinics to have it checked out, because we women, we have our breast cancer more prevalent for our gender, and I think changes in hormones, and especially if you like me just became a mother, the, let's say, possibility, the reality, or even the imagining the scenario that there might be something wrong, maybe there is a breast cancer developing, that's actually very much more scary than when you don't have a child. So if you're worried, go and check it out. However, do not spend time worrying and in anxiety if you don't know for sure. So my kind of tactics, and I guess my 5 cents on it, if there is something going on, let's go and let's get to cleared, clarified, checked out by professionals. However, let's not sit and create sickness by worrying about it without really knowing if there is something there. So this is my mood diary for today, and since you are here and since I am here, I have a question to the universe, and I'm using these oracle cards. I'm not doing this like all the time, but sometimes I think it might be fun. So let's see. I have a question in mind. You can actually, if you're watching this, you can ask a question in your mind quietly, and let's see what the answer is going to be. Oh, I got the Temple of a Black Obsidian. My question was actually about joining a program, one of the programs of spiritual development, so I'm just gonna check what that means. Dark Healing Chamber. I just read description, and it says that the most challenging task is not to confront an external enemy, but to take courage in both hands and journey within to meet our own dark self and begin the healing task of bringing love, acceptance, and light to it. That is the sacred purpose of any enemy within or without, to bring us more deeply into our own being as we seek to find and heal the darkness within. And then another sentence that actually really spoke to me, it was that the biggest challenge we face in entering the Temple of Black Obsidian is our own unwillingness to love and accept all parts of us. Initiate who is invited to enter the Temple of Black Obsidian enters into his or her own shadow, the part of us that is hidden from our own awareness and is usually only experienced in relation to others, quite often as projection. So basically the video has stopped, so I have to record it over, and it looks like basically the meaning is to go and meet your shadow self. So self-acceptance, finding answer in the part which is rejected and not accepted by self. So I think whatever our question is we either need to take steps to accept ourselves, or we will know the answer and get clarity once we do that. Alright, so thank you for watching. My name is Ruta. I am female coach, emotional well-being practitioner, trauma integration specialist, and holistic womb healing enthusiast. And that has been my mood diary. And the picture that you're seeing is from Unsplash, so it's not taken by me, but it's Temple of Goddess Isis in Egypt. So enjoy, Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.